Okay, this video is what I think about black people. Have been thinking about it a little bit over the last couple days because I've had people commenting on my where the origin of all the races come from, and it's usually black people who are kind of like thinking that I'm like racist or something. I don't know why. Maybe because I mentioned on the video that like maybe in a way, kind of in a white people were more intelligent in terms of inventing stuff, just because that's what people and what white people invented all this stuff, the technological stuff, because they're up north and they have to be inventive. But I just said maybe. I didn't actually believe it. I don't think white people are genetically more intelligent than black people, for the record. I just brought it out there because people believe that. But one black person is saying that everybody in the past is black. Like he was saying, you named something and they were all black. And I think blacks did have a lot of influence and did a lot of like maybe even the Arabs who were so far ahead in math and invented the zero were actually blacks. The way I see it, there's like, right now at least the way I see it, there's like four main races. You have the reds, which are like Native Americans, Tibetans, Mongolians, yellows, whites, like who are like the Scandinavians, and blacks. And then I guess Aborigines, I guess you could say they're black. And so everybody in between is a mixture. So like me, because I have black hair, I'm part black. And part white, but mainly white, but I'm part black. And then Middle Easterners are like half white, half black, even though they consider themselves white. Now, there have been lots of black mummies and white mummies. So I think Egypt was a mixed race. You'd have the white ones and the black ones, but most of them were mixed. And you can tell that by looking at the mummies. But I hope there's movies made by about black societies, advanced cultures in Africa and stuff. But basically, what I want to talk about 3 minutes into the video is what I think about black people, like in America. It's kind of a hard video to do because I'm not black and I haven't even really known that many black people. But I do know that black people are kind of angry with white people because of the whole slavery thing and racist thing. And so I think in that way, black people, it's like, what are the disadvantages and advantages of being black in compared with being a white person? Well, I think the disadvantages are pretty obvious. They have everything to do with being poor because black people are poorer. So you're going to be more likely to steal and stuff like this. But the advantages, as far as of being black, somebody wrote on my video, like, watch out, black people are coming up, and watch out, history is going to be rewritten and include more blacks. I believe that. And I think one reason black people are going to be coming up, black people have 12% of the population and a lot less than 12% of the wealth. But it seems like they've got most of the music on the radio, and they've invented like most of the different kinds of music genres in America. So if there's so few of them and they have such little money, and connections and all that, why are they doing so well in that? And also, it seems like in movies too. Like, it seems like most of the really funny movies that are out there are made from black people. Like, you've got one of the biggest perennial stars is Eddie Murphy, and then you've got the Wayans brothers who make pumping out movies, and they're better than any other movie, So why is that? Why are they so creative? I think it's because white people, white culture, puts lots of different borders around everything. Lots of limitations, limit themselves. With all of, that's just kind of part of being white. You know, living up north, you have to limit yourself. You have to be disciplined to survive in the cold and all that stuff. And so then, but then you have all sorts of like weird rules and laws and stuff, like not being vulgar, no nudity, because this kind of stuff, like black music is a lot raunchier, a lot more sexual, and dirtier that way. And they would, like, black people in a rap song would say a lot more stuff that like a white person would never say, and could get away with saying a lot more than a white person could say. Like if I were to go and talk like a black person, talking like sing a song, like being just as like sexually, you know, descriptive as a black person, I'd catch a lot more flack from people than if I was a black person. I'd catch more flack from white people than a black person would from black people, or a black person would even from white people. And I think that's because, and that's an advantage, because the less limitations you have, the more creative you can be. And the more creative you are, the more real, the more raw, well, the more free and better your art's going to be. So I think black people are just going to continue to rise in that respect until white people and it's going to end up helping white people, because it's going to teach white people to you know, if they're going to keep up, they're going to have to relax their inhibitions and all their little imaginary social faux pas and all this stuff. I imagine one reason why blacks may not like white people is because white people try to act like they're so cool and pious, but it was the white people who made the slavery and do the racism, so it's hypocritical. And so I would think that a black person would understand more, like what's really behind your heart. If you're like really a good person, you can get away with walking around with your shirt off and talking in double negatives and growing your hair out, and you know, but as long as you're a nice person, then they don't care. And I think that's also tied in a little bit to like maybe being poor, because I know poor people don't like rich people, because they think rich people think they're better than them. So then they understand the concept of you know, just treat everybody with respect, whether they have money or not. I lived in the ghetto in Chile I was in Chile for 5 years, and I heard all that stuff about how rich people suck from my wife and her family. And I did notice that I could get away with doing stuff around them, and they thought it was funny, and they wouldn't be offended, that I would never be able to get away with without people like being really weirded out by me. You know, like I'd get all drunk and bite my toenails off in the living room, you know, and make like raunchy jokes and this kind of a thing. So, but I mean, like I said, I don't know black people. I mean, that's just my impression of black people. And I'm doing that from like a socioeconomic standpoint. Like that's how they act because of that, and not anything about genetic. Because I really don't think that means anything. I don't think people act a certain way because of genetics. It's all because of their upbringing and everything. Pretty soon, we'll all act the same. But as for now, that's what I think of black people. I can't upload a video where I say what I think about white people. At least not now. Because white people are basically people. I could say what I think about people. I don't know. Anyways, I'm out of time. I guess black people are different depending on what continent you are. You know, that was basically black people in America. I was talking about black people in Africa. That's a whole nother video. So that's that. I tried my best.